Tripura Rahasya, Chapter 18. If all enlightened people are the same, why do they act differently? At the end of Chapter 17, Ashtavakra had received the complete teaching from King Janaka on fleeting samadhi and the path to abiding wisdom. He understood the stages: hearing, reflection, contemplation, direct realization, and the final recognition that I am that. He returned to his place, practiced with sincerity, and in time became a Jivanmukta, liberated while living. Now, back on the sacred Gandhamadhan mountain, Dattatreya continues his profound teaching to Parasurama. But a new and very practical question arises in Parasurama's heart, a question that has puzzled sincere seekers for thousands of years. The Gandhamadhan mountain. Parasurama sits before his master Dattatreya, his face thoughtful, his inquiry deepening.
Master, I have heard your words. I have heard the story of Ashtavakra and Janaka. I understand that wisdom is one, and that the self is the same for all who realize it. I understand the stages of wisdom and how fleeting samadhi can become abiding recognition. But I have a new question. I see that sages live very differently. Some are highly active in the world. They rule kingdoms like Janaka, engage in complex duties, raise families, and teach, yet remain completely free. Some are deeply withdrawn. They live in caves or forests, absorbed in continuous samadhi, seemingly untouched by the world. Some teach tirelessly, write scriptures, and guide disciples across generations. Some remain in profound silence, their mere presence uplifting all who come near. Some appear to experience pleasure and pain like ordinary people. They laugh, they grieve, they show love and even anger at times. Some seem completely beyond all dualities, like a clear mirror that reflects everything perfectly but remains untouched. If wisdom is one, if the self is the same, and if liberation is identical for all, why do the lives of the wise differ so greatly? Are there grades or levels of knowledge, or does something else entirely account for these differences? Please enlighten me, Master.
This is the question of a mature and discerning seeker. Parasurama has understood the unity of the self. Now he seeks to understand the beautiful diversity in how that unity expresses itself through different realized beings.
You have asked a profound and very practical question, Rama, one that has puzzled many sincere seekers throughout the ages. Listen carefully with an open heart. I will explain the secret clearly. First, understand this fundamental truth. Wisdom itself is one. It does not admit of degrees. The self is the same for all. Realization is the same for all. There is not a higher self and a lower self. There is only the one non-dual self-luminous consciousness. But the expression of this wisdom differs according to the vehicle through which it shines. Just as the same sun shines differently when passing through clear glass, colored glass, or frosted glass, sometimes bright and direct, sometimes soft and diffused. So the same self shines differently through different minds, bodies, and remaining tendencies. The differences you observe among sages are not in the wisdom itself. They are in the remaining predispositions, the Vasanas and the karmic residues that continue for some time even after realization has dawned.
This is the first deep teaching of Chapter 18. Wisdom is one. Its expression varies. The sun does not change when it shines through different windows. The self does not change when it shines through different vehicles. The differences lie not in the light, but in the lens through which the light passes.
So even after realization, some residues remain. The sage is not completely free from the effects of his past.
The sage is completely free in his essential nature. He is not bound by his past, but the body and mind continue for a time according to their past momentum. This is called Prarabdha karma, the portion of karma that has already begun to bear fruit and must naturally run its course until it is exhausted. It is like a wheel that continues spinning for some time after the potter has stopped pushing it. It is like a fire that keeps burning for a while even after the fuel has been exhausted. It is like a roasted seed that still retains its form but can no longer sprout. The sage is free in his true nature, but the body and mind may still function according to their residual tendencies. These tendencies do not bind him. They are like a burned rope that still retains the appearance of a rope but has lost all power to tie or limit. Now let me describe the three main classes of jhanas. The wise. They are not different in the essence of their realization, but they differ in the degree to which the mind has been purified and in how the light of wisdom expresses through them. The lowest class, the jnani with an active mind. In this class, realization has firmly dawned, but the mind is still quite active. Old habits, tendencies, and vasanas continue to arise from time to time. The jnani may experience pleasure and pain in a manner similar to ordinary people. There may be occasional lapses in remembrance followed by quick recovery. Yet even in the midst of these fluctuations, there is an underlying certainty, a deep knowing that the self is the only reality and that all appearances are unreal. This jnani is like a man walking in a large room holding a lamp. He sees the light clearly at times, but his eyes are still adjusting to the brightness, and shadows or reflections sometimes confuse him momentarily. He is free in his heart, but the mind has not yet become fully quiet and transparent. The middle class, the jnani with a subdued mind. In the middle class, through long and sincere practice, the mind has been greatly subdued and quieted. It is mostly still and peaceful. Forgetfulness of the self rarely occurs. Pleasure and pain may arise as natural phenomena, but they are not taken as mine or allowed to disturb the inner peace. The jnani remains largely undisturbed, like a man in deep but conscious sleep, aware of sensations and events yet not entangled or identified with them. This jnani is like a lamp that burns with a steady, unwavering, and clear flame. The light is constant and bright. He is free and his mind no longer pulls him back into the illusion of duality. The highest class, the jnani who has transcended mind. In the highest class, the mind has been completely transcended. The sage can engage in countless activities at once and yet remain utterly still within. He is like a perfectly clear mirror, reflecting everything perfectly, yet attached to nothing and unaffected by any reflection. He is like the sun, shining equally on all beings and all phenomena, yet touched by none of them. He is like the vast, deep ocean. Waves of activity rise and fall on the surface, but the depths remain eternally peaceful, silent, and undisturbed. This jnani can rule a kingdom with perfect efficiency, teach disciples across generations, or live in complete external silence. Yet he never leaves the self even for a single moment. His consciousness is so expanded and purified that it is no longer limited to a personal, individual mind. It has become universal consciousness appearing as mind.
This is the second teaching. There are three classes of jnanis according to the state and purification of the mind. The lowest still works with an active mind. The middle has subdued the mind. The highest has transcended the personal mind altogether. Yet all are fully liberated. All are established in the one self.
Master, why do these differences exist? Why does one sage still work with an active mind while another has transcended it completely?
The differences arise from the Vasanas, the accumulated mental tendencies, impressions, and predispositions from countless past lives. These Vasanas are not instantly and completely destroyed the moment wisdom dawns. They are like a large mountain of cotton that has caught fire. The fire of knowledge burns fiercely and quickly, consuming the bulk of the ignorance, but the cotton may continue to smolder for some time until it is fully reduced to ashes. There are three main types of vasanas that can remain even after realization. Aparavidya vasana, the tendency toward doubt, intellectual skepticism, or mistrust of the teachings and the guru. Karma vasana, the deep-rooted tendency toward restless activity, engagement in the world, and the need to do or accomplish. Kama vasana, the tendency toward desire, emotional involvement, and seeking pleasure or satisfaction in objects and relationships. These tendencies shape the outer expression and lifestyle of each sage. For example, King Janaka continued to rule a vast kingdom with perfect detachment because his karma vasana, the tendency toward action and responsibility, was strong and not yet fully exhausted. The sage Durvasa was known for his fierce temper and quick curses because that particular tendency remained as a smoldering residue, yet it could not bind him or disturb his inner freedom. Dattatreya himself roamed freely like an avadhuta, unbound by social conventions because his tendencies expressed as complete freedom from all rules and limitations. Yet in all cases, these remaining tendencies do not bind the sage. They are like a burned rope. They may still retain the outward appearance of a rope, but they have lost all power to tie, bind, or limit the realized one.
This is the third teaching. The differences among sages come from remaining vasanas and prarabdha. The same self shines differently through different vehicles and different remaining tendencies, just as the same fire burns differently depending on the nature of the fuel.
So the jnani can fully engage in worldly activities without any attachment?
Yes. The realized one acts like a highly skilled actor in a great cosmic drama or play. He may play the role of a king, a teacher, a householder, a renunciate, or even a fierce warrior. He sits on the throne, issues commands, wears the crown, performs his duties with excellence, and appears fully engaged. But he knows in the depth of his being that he is not the character he is playing. He is not attached to the role, nor does he desire the fruits or results of his actions. He plays his part with perfection and dedication, yet remains completely free and untouched within. This is called lila, the divine spontaneous play of consciousness. The jnani participates fully and joyfully in the drama of life, knowing that it is only a drama appearing within the one self.
This is the fourth teaching. The jnani acts like an actor in the cosmic play of consciousness. He performs his role beautifully and effectively, but he is never bound or identified with it.
And how does the jnani experience pleasure and pain in daily life?
For the lowest class, pleasure and pain are still experienced quite distinctly and vividly, but they do not bind him or disturb his inner freedom and peace. For the middle class, they are felt only faintly and distantly, like gentle sensations in a state of deep but conscious sleep. For the highest class, they are seen clearly as unreal appearances, like waves rising and falling on the surface of the ocean, or like images appearing and disappearing in a mirror. The ocean and the mirror remain completely untouched, unaffected, and eternally peaceful.
This is the fifth teaching. Pleasure and pain vary in intensity and subtlety among the three classes, but none of the jnanis are bound or disturbed by them.
Master, if the highest jnani has completely transcended the personal mind, how is it possible for him to engage in so many activities at once without losing his stillness?
Think of the sun. It shines simultaneously on mountains, rivers, forests, cities, deserts, and oceans, on millions of things at once, without dividing itself, without losing its brilliance, and without becoming entangled in any of the objects it illumines. Similarly, the consciousness of the highest jnani is so purified, expanded, and transparent that it is no longer confined to a limited personal mind. It has become universal consciousness appearing as mind. It can attend to infinite activities, responsibilities, and interactions without ever losing its perfect stillness, peace, or clarity.
This is the sixth teaching. The highest jnani has a mind that is no longer personal or limited. It is consciousness itself, vast, undivided, and universal, capable of infinite engagement while remaining eternally still and free.
Then why does the jnani continue to live in the body at all? Why does he not leave the body immediately after realization?
He remains in the body as long as the momentum of Prarabdha karma continues to play out. When that natural momentum comes to an end, the body falls away naturally. But for the jnani, death is not a tragedy or a loss. It is simply like changing an old garment or moving from one room to another. The self was never born. The self will never die. The body comes and goes like a cloud in the infinite sky. The self remains eternal, unchanging, self-luminous, and completely free.
This is the seventh teaching. The jnani lives in the body as long as Prarabdha continues, but death has no power over him and brings no loss.
Now you see the complete and beautiful secret, Rama. Wisdom is one. The self is one. Liberation is one. But the outer expression of liberation differs according to the remaining Vasanas, the unique vehicle of the body and mind, and the momentum of Prarabdha. Some sages burn like a fierce, purifying fire. Some flow like a gentle, life-giving river. Some stand like a silent, immovable mountain. Some shine like the sun, illuminating all equally. Yet all are the same light. All are the same self. All are completely free. Honor the self in every sage you encounter, regardless of how they appear externally. In seeing and honoring the light in others, you honor the light in yourself. In recognizing the one behind all diversity, you rest in the one that you truly are.
Master, I understand now with deep clarity. The differences are only in appearance and expression. In reality, all jnis are one in the self. I am deeply grateful for this teaching.
The teaching of chapter 18 is now complete. Let us summarize what Parasurama learned. 1. Wisdom is one. The self does not admit of degrees. 2. The expression of wisdom varies according to remaining Vasanas and Prarabdha. 3. There are three classes of jnanis according to the state and purification of the mind. 4. The jnani acts like an actor in the cosmic play of consciousness, performing perfectly, yet unattached. 5. Pleasure and pain vary in intensity, but do not bind any jnani. 6. The highest jnani has transcended the personal mind and can engage in infinite activities while remaining perfectly still. 7. The body continues only as long as Prarabdha lasts. Death is not a loss for the realized one. Take a quiet moment now and reflect deeply on this teaching. When you encounter a sage, teacher, or realized being who appears angry, passionate, silent, highly active, unconventional, or even strange, do not judge by external appearances. You cannot see the depth of realization from the outside. Honor the self that shines through every form and every expression. In honoring the self in others, you honor the self in yourself. The wise see only the one in the many. May you also learn to see the one self shining equally in all. In Chapter 19, Dattatreya will continue this teaching, exploring the states of the wise in even greater detail and explaining the nature of samadhi and practice for different types of seekers. But for now, sit with this teaching. Let it sink deeply into your being. Let it dissolve the tendency to judge by appearances. Let it open your heart and eyes to the one self shining in all. Thus ends the 18th chapter of the Tripura Rahasya, known as the 3 classes of jnanis, differences in the state of the wise. If this teaching has stirred something real and deep within you, pause the video right now. Close your eyes for 1 full minute. Silently feel or repeat, I honor the self in all beings. The one shines through the many. What arose in that silence? Share 1 word or short phrase in the comments. Unity, light, self, freedom, one, honor, or whatever touched your heart. Share this chapter with a friend or fellow seeker who is confused or judgmental about the different ways spiritual teachers and sages live and express themselves. Your sharing may bring them clarity, peace, and a deeper understanding. If this series is helping you see beyond appearances to the one reality that shines in all, please subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the continuation of this sacred teaching. The journey from questioning the diversity of the wise to resting in the one behind all diversity continues. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May you see the self in all. May the light be honored in every form and every expression. May you rest forever as what you have always been, the one self, shining through all.